feeling a lot more pressure. Okay, so we're going to solve two-step equations. And I wrote, look at this, I wrote solve two-step equations. Isn't that neat? This is like a graphic organizer. And so then I drew a line down. And then these are the two steps that we're going to do. And they're in the order that we're going to do them. You can do the other order, but it's going to make the problem way more complicated. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the extra constant that we have, because these usually build like this. So we've got a variable term, so I got a coefficient and a variable. And then I've got two constants here. In this one I've got a positive 2 and a positive 20. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get rid of one of those constants by bringing in a zero pair, either a positive or a negative. And then we're going to get rid of the coefficient. And when we get rid of the coefficient, we're either going to multiply or divide. Multiply if it's a fraction, right, because we're going to use the reciprocal, or divide if it's a whole number like this, an integer. Okay, so when you look at this one here, I just want you to look at it. I've got 3x plus 2 equals 20. Now, mentally, that first step, I'm just going to write out the first step. I'm just going to bring in a negative 2 to both sides. So I'm going to write that as subtract 2 from BS, from both sides. And that's going to look like then this. And at that point, I've got 3x plus 0 equals 18. Now, do we need the plus 0? We don't have to have the plus 0, but it's there just so that you know that it's gone. And then we're going to go to part 2 here. I needed to divide off that 3. So when I divide that by 3, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And I'm hoping the color can help you differentiate where I'm at on the page. And that's going to get me to that 1x. So 3 divided by 3 leaves me 1x. And 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. There. So just looking at the equation here, I'm going to take and bring in that negative 2 to both sides. And then I'm going to divide by 3. And I've got it. So then I can just do the math. I don't have to worry about the steps. Now let's do the check here. And I really like this because this is something we'll use in the future. I'm going to put the cloud around it and draw my arrow up to that x and substitute. And then right here I'm going to say 3 times 6 plus 2 equals 20. Order of ops says 18 plus 2 equals 20. 20 equals 20. Done! We're going to do 2 more, and they're going to go nice and quick. We're going to use the same idea. We're going to, first step is take care of the constant. Second step is take care of the coefficient. The next problem looks like this. I got negative 3 equals 5x plus 7. And then you may look at that and go, wait a minute, Mr. Romanovich. You're trying to trick us. The x is always on the left. So I'm just going to put a little box around this that says, hey, you know what? I found where the variable is. That's the piece that we've got to get alone. And that variable's just got to travel down here, and it's going to be some problem, a value that equals x. Now, before I even start, what are the 2 steps we're going to do? When I look at this, I need to get this to be a 0. I'm going to take care of that constant first. So that's going to be subtract 7 from both sides. Then the second thing, I'm going to look at that coefficient. Second, I don't think you can see that. I put second up there. It might be too high. I'm going to have to divide off that 5. So divide by 5. Both sides. That both sides thinking matters. Like, I've got to keep you thinking that way. Don't think you're doing one thing. You're always doing 2 things because the scale that those things are on, because it's equal, it's here. If you take 5 away from this side, that scale's going to go like this. It ain't going to work then. So let's do the math then. Now we're into the math. So I've got a negative 7 here and a negative 7 here, giving me 0. and 5x. And negative 3 and negative 7, that's a party, as we say, so the same signs gives us the same sign of the answer. That's negative 10. Then we are dividing off that coefficient. Divide by 5. The 0 just kind of melts away. Divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, leaving us 1x. Negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. Little integer practice there. Then we'll do our check. So I'm going to put a little cloud around this. Hello! And then my cloud's going to travel up and go into that x. So then I've got negative 3 equals 5 times negative 2 plus 7. Negative 3 equals negative 10 plus 7. These two together clearly equal negative 3. That checks. Your check should be that fast, right? There's no reason it has to be slow. My check goes fast, not because I'm not doing it in my head. It goes fast because I'm writing it. And it's simple. Just write it mechanically. One line, do one thing. Another line, do one thing. Another line, and you're good. Last example, let's go. I'm going to erase this, but I'll leave the 1 and the 2. Mrs. Benoit, how's the time?
Good.
Good. All right, so I got 9 minus 2x equals
Negative 13.
negative 13. And looking at that, I want to just, where is that variable? Oh, the variable's on this side this time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take care of that extra constant. That's that 9. Now, for some reason, kids do this thing where they look at the 9 and they don't know what the sign is. The sign is positive. So I want to subtract 9 from both sides. Then what I'm left with is that negative 2x. That negative has to stay there, which means my next step is divide by negative 2 to both sides. So there we go. Let's take words and put them into practice. So here's my negative 9 on this side and negative 9 on this side. This gives me 0, and my negative 2x just comes straight down. Negative 13 and negative 9, two negative numbers put together gives us more negatives. That's negative 22. Now we're going to bring our second step in here, divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2 and divide by negative 2, leaving us just 1x. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just 1. Negative 22 divided by negative 2 is positive 11, because we have same sign. We got negative, we got positive 11. All right, let's put the cloud around it. Cloudville. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to fly it up here, do that thing. And then very mechanical here. So I got 9 minus 2 parentheses 11 equals negative 13. 9 minus 22 equals negative 13. When I put those together, I got negative 13 equals negative 13, and that checks. If you have any questions, you can ask me or anybody in the math department. Good luck.